Hey, it's good to see you. Tom has been hard at work. He has been helping with the project, and so we thought that we would show you what he's been up to, because it's kind of turned into a big project. But there's also been some just like, I don't know, kind of fun, inexpensive things that we've done here too that I thought would be fun to show. So Tom's been working to give this rental space a facelift. It actually turned out, what's more than like a facelift? It turned out to like some more like serious. Remodel? Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So I wanted to show you quick what he's done and then what's left to finish up, but also kind of some of the fun stuff we did that was really inexpensive, but helped to cover some of the other flaws of the space.
So first off, all the cabinets were really grody. Like, they look good from the outside, but as soon as you pull them open, I was like, oh, they're probably from like the 60s, maybe? So we gutted the kitchen, all new cabinets. There was no microwave, so we put a microwave in up above. No dishwasher, so we added a dishwasher. Ripped out all the flooring, and then we put in just cheap vinyl plank flooring. This may look familiar to people. This is actually the same flooring we put in our personal house that we just took out.
Yeah.
So cheap flooring, we knew it lasted and wore well, so that's in here. I also just got done replumbing everything. We had to put a water filtration system in because I think they said that the nitrates were high.
For the well water test.
For the well water. So this is the upper unit we're working on right now. So we got a water filtration in there now. And then the basement will all get the exact same everything, basically. So
I think one of my favorite things was that there was a bunch of layers of wallpaper on these walls. And so we could have like skim coated it. Well, we could have taken it all down, skim coated it, went over it with drywall, but we decided to use this brick paneling. I'd seen on Instagram where people put up the brick paneling and then they paint it white, and it looks kind of like a faux brick wall now. And then we went back and forth if we would put upper cabinets back up here or open shelves, and we decided there's actually a lot of cabinet space in here, and there is a corner pantry here too. So we decided keep this space open. This can kind of be like where you put your coffee pot and your air fryer and all those things that tend to sit out, and then just do some open shelves above here, and it'll keep it kind of open but still function pretty well too.
All right, and then we also, in this space, when we ripped it apart, put the new lower cabinets in. We slid them over because as all good fridges work for 20 years, they do eventually die.
Yeah.
So we left the fridge space wider so you could fit like a new standard fridge in here, and then there'll be no cabinets above it, just two open shelves here. So if this fridge ever died on a tenant, then we could just replace it with a bigger one.
So I'm gonna let Tom keep working here in the kitchen, and I actually want to try out some countertop paint in the other bathroom because you all know how I love to paint things and see what happens.
And we kind of had free reign here to just kind of make it cute and clean so that
it was like
you can get a good tenant in there. So
try and keep the budget low, and so that's where these types of things work well. So I'm gonna head in there to work on that, and then Tom's gonna keep working out here, and by the end of today we are gonna show you, we're gonna have the shelves up, everything done, and we're gonna get it cleaned up too and show you
get all my tools out of here.
I know, that's like a day project in itself. But we're gonna show you the final product today. So we're excited for you to see that. Before I head to the bathroom, we also painted all of the doors. You might recognize this blue color. It's the same color as Diana's vanities in her bathrooms and the boys' loft beds. It's a Sherwin-Williams color, so I'll put that down below. But it was just like a nice contrast with the light gray walls, but I also think it'll wear well because the doors were really dirty. So I thought going with a darker color on the doors will wear better, but it looks nice. And I'll put all the names of all the paint colors down below. All right, so I have the countertop paint. We had actually gotten this for our first camper and never ended up using it. So it's kind of like a light gray color. And so I just, I peeled all the silicone out from around the sink and around the other edges. I sanded the tops of the wood cabinets, and I cleaned this really well. And I'm ready to put this on, but mistake number one I'm already seeing is that I don't have a little roller. I only have a paintbrush. So I'm hoping it's still gonna go on okay. Number two is that I just painted my nails for the first time in like 3 years. And now I've been like peeling out silicone, and I'm gonna do this like, I don't know, this strong paint. but it's fine. So we're gonna get this on. It says do one thin coat, wait an hour, and then do another thin coat, and then let it sit for 3 days. So with this first section, I'm realizing that this paint is very thick. So a roller would have been a little bit better, but it kind of, the brush strokes kind of even out from the weight of it, so that's okay. You might also remember we had painted Diana's vanity tops with appliance epoxy quite a while back, and she had different counters. They were kind of like that faux marble look, all molded into the sink. But that worked incredibly well. I wasn't sure if I was able to find this. We still had some appliance epoxy at home, and so if I didn't find this, I was just gonna use that here. But it held up very well, so that's another good option to, I'll link to the video. Tom sprayed it. We would have rolled it and brushed it in hindsight, but I'll link to that video down below if you have any interest in trying that method out too. Okay, I couldn't do it. I had to go get a roller. It doesn't look horrible, but I just can't fully test and endorse a product unless we do it right. So that's still drying. I'm gonna work on this middle section here and I don't know, see how it turns out. All right, I'm gonna get Tom's opinion on something quick. So these were some extra cabinets that were here. So Tom hung them up here, which is great. Super nice to have in the laundry area. We had gotten one of these drying racks just like in our laundry room because I really like it, to put between the cabinets. Mm-hmm. So if we put this here, yep, we have to go up a little bit high so it can fold down. And we don't know where the studs are necessarily.
I actually do, and I was going to tell you about that. There are 0 studs where you want them to be. Okay. There's 1 stud down the middle line. Okay, that's what I was a little bit worried about. So what if we just, this is just a tension rod that you could hang hangers on. What if we just put that up instead and just... Okay. How about you return that, There's a hanging rod right here.
Oh yeah.
Let's take this one down, cut it to fit between there, and unscrew the caps. This, I think they taped this because it was coming off.
The tape, I mean, looks very nice.
So let's use this bracket, that bracket, cut the bar down, put it there.
Okay.
And then I actually just remembered I still need to build a shelf back here.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a huge gap here.
Right.
So build a shelf there, otherwise I think laundry and all that junk's gonna fall down behind there.
Yeah.
And I think if we build a shelf here, they can set their detergents and all that on there if they don't want to put them in here.
Right. Okay, so I've been letting all of this dry. This, where we were just doing the Formica, dried really nicely and evenly. So this is ready. It's been about 45 minutes, and I think this is ready for a second coat. The upper levels, this one where I brushed it on, it was like super thick. That is nowhere near ready. And this other wood one isn't quite yet. So they're all drying at different speeds or whatever. So it's fine, but I'm gonna get a second coat on this. I'm really happy with how it's looking on the Formica. So if that's your goal, is just to cover up an old countertop, you're not gonna try and do any wood stuff, I think it'll work out just fine. But I don't know, we'll show you the final product and we'll see how the wood parts turn out as well. The first like dates that you and I went on, it wasn't actually a date because we were friends at the time, was going to look at a house.
It was a meth lab.
It had been repossessed because
it was a previous meth lab.
Bad activity went on in it. And you were trying to decide if you should put an offer in on it, knowing it had been gutted, but it would have to be fully like rebuilt.
Yeah, it was down to the bare bone studs.
And I remember going to look at that with you and being like, this would be such a fun project.
I I think I remember it was on like a half acre. It had a shop.
Yep.
Granted, it was a wreck.
Yeah.
And I remember after looking at that house with you, I was like, because we have been really good friends for a long time. And I thought, all right, we need to not hang out for a while because that totally felt like we were a couple looking at our house.
You didn't end
Because
up...
I knew Dawn wasn't interested. So.
Yeah. So you didn't end up getting that house,
No.
but then after we got married, we bought a house that was not as bad as the meth house, but it was...
We made it pretty bad though.
It was pretty bad. It had bad like pet stuff going on in it, and we didn't know until we got into it that there was actually sheetrock, wallpaper, paneling, wallpaper, sheetrock. Like it was just like...
It was literally like wall, like beyond the studs, it was like that thick. And the floor was the same way. They just kept layering over layers, plywood over flooring, and it was like, it was nuts.
So we had all these hopes and dreams. We were gonna flip it, we were gonna pay off my student loans. That was back 2008-ish, and we all know what happened.
Thought we got a great deal when we bought it because the market had already dropped, but it hadn't gone all the way down.
So anyways, for a while, after that house, I said, I will never like take on a project house. We will not live in a remodel. Like I want nothing to do with it.
That's all she wants.
But now here it is 13 years later, and like honestly, this has been the most fun I've had in a long time. My manicure is ruined, but I don't know, I love the transformation of just seeing stuff go from not so nice to really nice. And finding inexpensive ways to do it too. Overall though, I think the transformation has been pretty cool here.
I think it's not this place was gross before. It may not have appeared it in camera, but this place was gross.
Yeah.
It is no longer gross.
No, I'm excited for someone to get to live here because the cabinets were sure a little bit of an investment, but then beyond that we did Formica countertops, but I think the shape of the front and everything makes them look a little bit nicer. I really like the pattern on it. The inexpensive vinyl plank flooring. We put in the open shelves and... Yeah,
the backsplash is just like a brick pattern masonite board, so it's not gonna last forever.
No, I think it's pretty durable. Hey, we had this in our kitchen in our home growing up, and it lasted very well. So we didn't paint it then, but we filled the gaps and the nail holes and painted over it, and so I think it looks pretty cool. I think it has a little bit of character, but it feels light and bright and open.
I added a dishwasher up here, which is actually the old dishwasher from our house.
Yep.
Instead of throwing it out, we just brought it over here. So.
And Tom found a Bosch dishwasher on Marketplace for inexpensive. So he got that installed at our house. And then there wasn't a microwave installed.
Above. It was just one on the counter.
Which, takes up a lot of counter space.
Yep.
So.
Well, and we had thought if a renter's not having to bring a microwave in and out, then that counter space that they use will last longer and won't get damaged. So if you just put it up on the wall, then hopefully there's less wear and tear in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just super naive and I'm wanting to put a microwave up there.
And we went back and forth if we should do the open shelves on this stretch of countertops or put cabinets back up. But there is a pantry, a pretty decent sized pantry next to the fridge. So I thought, there's a good amount of cabinet space in here. So I think we could do some open shelves, keep that counter open. And I think
and this it's not a humongous kitchen. It's just, what do they call it? A galley kitchen. And so by having this open more, it makes the space not feel so closed in.
Yeah. Like
downstairs, we're going to do the same thing in the lower unit directly below us.
Yeah.
That one felt super closed in when we went down there before we gutted the kitchen out of there too.
And then in the bathroom, I did the paint on the countertop, on the Formica, and then also on the wood tops. Didn't turn out as great on the wood tops. Tom's smirking because I could have sanded a little bit more probably.
See, this is why it makes me laugh, because you're like, I love remodeling, I love projects.
I didn't have the right tools.
Then you're like, peace, I'm out, fix it for me.
No, I'll touch it up. But on the Formica, the paint worked awesome. I would highly recommend that. It is a paint specifically for countertops. Yep. On the wood, I just would have sanded it more because I put tape down when Tom was putting the silicone back in the gaps, and when he pulled up the tape, it pulled up some of the paint. So that's what I need to touch up. It'll be fine. But it just makes it feel cleaner and...
Well, yeah, wasn't it like pink before?
It was a little pinkish. Yeah, it had some rings on it.
Yeah, just looked better.
It looks nicer now. It just feels cleaner, right? I think anytime you move into any place, you just want it to not feel grody, right?
Yep.
And so I think we accomplished that.
Yep.
Overall, Tom has many, many, many hours into this. This video doesn't do justice all the work that he did here.
Hi.
Hi, is your arm tired yet?
I'm trying to switch back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know that most people do this sort of thing.
I don't think they do.
Pretty sure they don't.
The boys helped for a little bit putting in the vinyl plank,
Yeah,
and
they
they
put
thought
this floor in, yeah.
that was like the coolest thing ever. So it's fun to get them involved as well. But I think it looks awesome, and I think you did an awesome job with it. But we do still, we'll still have to show you too. Most of the new flooring's in our house, but we still need to get like the trim down, and I'm not rushing. I'm just telling you where we're at with that because there was a question about where that's at. So as soon as we get that all done, we actually want to do an updated home tour, and so that is definitely on the agenda when we get there. It'll happen
sometime this year.
Sometime this year. So it's on the record now. So we'll be excited to show that to you as well. But good job. We would love to know what you're up to this weekend, but otherwise we love you and we'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.